So the Avengers is about Loki, Thor's adopted brother, decides since he can't rule Asgard, watch Thor and you'll know what I mean. So I suppose he decides since he can't rule Asgard, he might as well try to rule Earth. And he attempts at doing that using the Tesseract, which has one of the Infinity Stones in it, his Scepter, which also has one of the Infinity Stones in it, mind control, and an army of creatures from space. So enabled to prevent Loki from global denomination, S.H.I.E.L.D. must assemble a team of most unlikely heroes, a team called the Avengers. Da 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 da. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about this movie, so let's get to it. There's a lot to talk about, so let's start with characters. So first character that I liked, Captain America slash Steve Rogers, and I like it that they still continued his story arc from first Avenger. That he's still trying to learn like how to live in this new 21st century world to him, and that he's still also pretty awesome in this movie as well. Loki. So I know Loki is definitely by far one of the most popular Marvel villains, and people say he's a great and likable villain, and I agree with them. I mean, he is a very good villain, and he's and being a trickster and stuff. And yeah, just that opening scene, man, who knew he can kick that much butt? Man, so cool. I mean, just that opening scene, man. That's just, man. And that scene towards the end of the movie, Avengers Tower, where it's basically Loki and Tony, it almost seems like they're playing a game of chess with words, a little bit of a game of wit, will ya? And you really get to see Loki's motivations in that scene, and Tony slash the Avengers motivations. And Tony Stark was great in that scene as well, and especially some pretty good one-liners.
We have a Hulk. Missing the point, there's no throne.
Black Widow. Well, that opening fight with her in the beginning of the movie pretty much says it all. And yeah, that's one of my favorite fights in the entire movie. It's just a unique and awesome fight right there. And really, that really describes Black Widow's character right there. A really cool, um, really cool girl, and she really does kick some butt. And this Bruce Banner, I actually liked him because he was a surprisingly sympathetic character. Like when he's not Hulk, he looks like he wouldn't even hurt a fly. And then he has the pressure of becoming Hulk at any time when he's angry, which makes him sympathetic. And then, of course, at the end of the movie, he gets his moment. And I also found Agent Coulson pretty likable. And that's another thing I wonder, is he really dead? And I know you, all you guys are thinking, duh, of course he isn't. Well, I mean, like, as in timeline, like, does Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually take place, like, right after Avengers, so that means he's actually not dead? I mean, like, if any of you guys know that, let me know, but that's a little thing I feel, though, is with some superhero movies, there's, like, some kind of death or tragedy that happens in that hero's life that motivates him to become the superhero that they need to be, and with this movie, I kind of feel like that's what Coulson is. That he is the motivation that motivates the Avengers to assemble, like especially with that scene where the Avengers are having a meeting with Nick Fury, and Nick Fury shows them the Captain America collectible cards that he supposedly had in his clothes when he was killed, and that he never got Captain America to sign, and that he had faith in the Avengers, and so that's really what motivates them to become the Avengers, and to assemble, and to defeat Loki. I don't exactly know if I'm the only person who feels this way, but that's just kind of how I feel about Agent Coulson. And then, of course, it's also in this scene where Nick Fury says the words that they end up using in the Infinity War trailer later.
There was an idea. Stark knows this. Called the Avengers Initiative. The idea was to bring together a group of remarkable people, see if they could become something more. See if they could work together when we needed them to fight the battles that we never could.
And I feel like those words are really what defines the Avengers and who they are.
Died still believing, and some died still believing in that idea.
So let's move on to some of my favorite parts. First of all, I once again loved that opening scene. It was a pretty good action-packed way to start the movie. I also liked the helicarriers. I don't know, maybe it's just because like my dad used to be in the Navy, so maybe that's why I like aircraft carriers. And if they can fly, boo yeah, baby, they're just cool. This scene where Captain America stands up for an old man who refuses to bow to Loki, that was a pretty cool scene. And where he has this cool fight with Loki, and in this fight you get to see how Captain America's fight styles were like before Winter Soldier and Civil War. The Iron Man versus Thor versus Captain America fight, that was pretty cool for some reason, even though it's really, if you think about it, three heroes fighting against each other for really no reason, but still kind of cool, and you get to see their powers and stuff. And I guess it's sort of what leads them to assembling, sort of, in a meeting, sort of, I don't know. And it's also interesting that Thor in this movie has the Force. I already mentioned that I like this Avengers Tower scene. And I also already mentioned I liked this Avengers meeting and the card scene. This little bit.
There are people inside that can be running right into the line of fire. I need a perimeter as far back as 39. Why the hell take orders from you? I need men in those buildings.
And then that part after Avengers Tower scene where he gets Tony gets thrown out the window, but then he lifts up using his Iron Man armor. That part was so cool. This fight of Captain America in the helicarrier reminded me of some fight scenes from the first Avenger, so very cool. And the third act is still very fantastic, and it's exciting, and you finally get to see the Avengers assemble and really work together, really for the first time, and there's definitely plenty of moments to cheer on. I mean, come on, you know I just gotta show this next clip. And I also love this line that Cap says to Black Widow.
These guys come from legend. They're basically gods.
There's only one God, man. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
And then some nitpicks to get out of the way. For younger viewers, the action scenes could get a little destructive and intense. There is some language in there, not very much thankfully, not as much as other Marvel movies. And some scenes could get pretty exposition heavy, which can be, like it's either hit or a miss. Then just a little nitpick, how exactly was Tony able to survive that propeller? I mean, come on, that should have shredded him. But then again, his suit is made out of metal, so I guess that's what it is, I don't know. And then I have heard some people may think that the best viewing of this is the first, and then second and third viewings after that is good, but not as good as the first, which, yeah, I can see that, but I'm not gonna let that bother me. It's really, I feel like this first Avengers movie is more about the Avengers assembling more than them fighting together. It's really about learning them developing a team and learning how to assemble and be a team. And of course, at the same time, that may be a little bothersome. Like, I could imagine some people just fast forwarding, just to get to third act, because that's the part we all, really came for. Which, yeah, I can see that, but there's still some pretty awesome action scenes in there that really still hold up. And yeah, it's besides a few nitpicks and stuff like that, and big scenes of exposition, it's a pretty enjoyable superhero movie, and it's really, like, along with the first Iron Man movie, it's kind of a kick-started the MCU as we know it. Not the best superhero movie of all time, though, but it's definitely one of the greats, though. And I'll give the Avengers a good 8 out of 10. So what do you guys think of the original Avengers? Let me know in the comments below, and please subscribe. Well, only if you want to. And thank you to all you subscribers who have subscribed. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. And stay tuned for more content. And yes, I will be hopefully doing more of Marvel reviews with Infinity War being out and all. And so yeah, see you next video.
Phase 2 isn't ready.
Actually, Phase 2 is ready, with Avengers Age of Ultron is next.